Shulman Barucha. Let's talk a bit about forthcoming Purim. This week is one of our last opportunities before the Yom Tov. So I want to share with you, first of all, some personal understandings about Purim and what it really could stand for in our lives, especially this year, what with the problem of COVID, and most likely everyone's going to be staying at home a bit more than usual. There'll be no running about. So let's talk about the inner Purim. Now, first I'm going to share with you a bit of reminiscing about my childhood. Kids have ways of coping with things and making adversity work in their favor. When I was a child, I had a speech problem, a speech impediment, you could call it. I couldn't say certain letters. And so I had to, what was called a lisp. I couldn't say S. Mine was pronounced, and was so pronounced that I was sent to speech therapy to get my tongue to work right. The root of the problem was, truly, that my hearing wasn't perfect. But in those days, such problems went undetected. And so I went through my younger years sounding cute, but being tortured because I was being told to try to do something that I really didn't understand because I could not hear the S, so I couldn't imitate the sound. I just could not hear the sound they wanted me to produce. So I learned to work around the problem. I fine-tuned things in a way where my problem became a bit of a prop. In time, I learned to pronounce those sounds and was allowed out of those tortuous speech classes. In truth, nothing was solved, but I learned how to manage. It took many years till I was diagnosed of having a hearing impairment. And with small hearing aids, all of those silent sounds were finally introduced to me for the very first time. Now, I must admit that some of this caused me pain. My oral skills were held back, and I carried a bit of insecurities that would inflict anyone who seems a little different. And I had to contend with that. After a half a century, the real reason for my childhood skirmish with adversity came to be understood. And because of it, I can totally empathize with many sweet neshamalach that I have had the schus, the merit to meet along life's highway. Life is often strewn with these little stumbling blocks that some can seem unsurmountable, and it truly is useful to be an old hand at such battles when you're working with other people. Like everything else in life, everything happens for a reason. And we may not see the reason. We may agonize over things. Yet in time, so much can be used for the good. We read Megillas Esther on Purim, a scroll that describes a pivotal story in the history of our people. The word Megillah suggests something being revealed, to be Magala. Much of the Purim narrative speaks of events that, on the surface, they seemed fascinating, but nonetheless was normal. Intrigue meets palace intrigue. Power brokers struggle over dominance. Jews being pawns. So what's new? We've seen this throughout our history. Beneath the normative narrative lays a great secret. Nothing is as it seems, and all is in the hands of Kaviyuchel the Eibishter. So much remains a mystery, and with this comes the greatest truth. The Megillah reveals that what may seem normal is really a miracle. And even without mentioning Hashem's name, which does not show itself in the whole of the Megillah, everything comes from the Eibishter, from Hashem. The pageant that is the Purim story didn't happen in a few days. It took 9 years for all the dots to connect. We have no understanding of what things must have seemed like in those days. The troubles went on for so long that many were used to the plight. Just as today, stuff is happening, we don't even understand if there'll be an end, how it's going to end. But I go out of the house, put on a mask. That's it. It's normal. Something else is going on here. Something very deep. So just then, by the Purim, whilst each of the players was taking their place in the saga, there was nothing that gave the light of understanding of why it's all happening. There's only one certitude, that Hashem was behind each moment, and one must keep one's faith. Try to imagine. Mordechai Tzaddik, he went every day to speak to Esther. Now Esther's a frum Yiddish neshama, who's been caught up in this pageant, being coerced into living in the darkest of places. Whatever could she be feeling in the face of such a trial? Yet Mordechai came every day with a message of betochen and of hope. How long do you think this went on? Every day, visiting. How long? Chazal tell us, over 4 years. 4 years of hearing, Hashem will help, don't lose faith. Imagine. You can't even get your head around it. How difficult this was for that innocent Jewish girl. 4 years of promises, with no understanding, no light in prospect. Sure, in the end, everything was revealed. All was written in a book, given the very name. Yet in real time, she was living with only sheer betochen and faith. Mordechai's visits were her only lifeline. Not for a day, not even a month, 4 years. Now we're all human, created with uniqueness that is divinely bestowed upon us. So much of what we face is hidden from our understanding. All we have is an embedded faith that Hashem is with us. In time, however, all does get revealed. And even if it takes half a lifetime, everything is shown to be for the good. Purim teaches us that in the hidden challenges lie the redemption that we all seek. What we think is beyond hope is the beginning of salvation. Kinderlach, may we all share Purim and its many lessons, and realize how wondrous Hashem is in our very lives. This epic that we're living through, this shall pass, and we will understand. We will understand that Hashem is sending us a message. And we'll see that light. B'kulev, hopefully soon. And meanwhile, I vince you I give you my brachas hedjed for a wondrous Purim. Kol Tov.